Hello, and welcome to the Live Past Crazy Show. Your host is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with her? Yanmitra appreciates you taking the time out to listen to the podcast, and it is her sincere hope that what we share is something that you can use to help you and someone you know live past crazy.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? I'm going to share this right fast. Hope everybody had a great day. Hope you're ready to get this morning started. I think I spelled it all wrong. Good morning. Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Good morning. Y'all, hope y'all enjoyed the show yesterday. I know I may have cried a little bit, but I meant that thing yesterday. I meant that, and it is important to me that people don't leave this life unfulfilled, or that they take everything with them that they were given. Why do that? Why take it with you? You were given it for a reason, and that's to give it away. So, do that. So welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Let's get right into the quote of the day. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. And that is by Sir Francis Bacon. Good morning, Keep. Thank you, Kiba. Thank you. Because I was feeling that thing yesterday, y'all. Because I truly understand when people may be on that journey and how frustrating it can be. And I just wanted the best for people. That's all I want. And that's what I want sincerely. And that's what I hope for everyone. So, great morning, y'all. I'm sorry, my eyes are itching. Great morning, Miss Valerie. Great morning. All right, so quote of the day, begin doing what you want to do now. We're not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. Isn't that beautiful? That's by Sir Francis Bacon. If you know him from literature class, y'all don't get me talking about literature, because you know I majored in it, and I can talk about that all day. So I read something this morning that's going to complement the thought of the day. It says we must come to know and trust an empowering belief that we can achieve our dreams. And to do this, we need to be liberated from toxic beliefs about ourselves and our potential. We must learn to believe from a place of utter freedom and strength. My dear sisters, we must reclaim and proclaim our faith in ourselves. So the fearless thought of the day, I had the thought before I found that in the book, is what is your superpower? Identifying your superpower. What is it? And what is it? How do you find it? And how you know you got one? And, you know, people say all the time, I know I do. You got a superpower and you're not using it. Yeah. And so for me, always confessions and conversations for JoJo. My superpower. And everyone has a superpower. You do. You use it every day. just not for good, maybe for something else, maybe to keep you stuck, maybe to keep you thinking crazy thoughts. So this is my superpower. I realized, and I got my sticky note, when this hit me, I didn't label it a superpower. I just thought of it, well, dog, I didn't know that. But today we're going to call it a superpower, because as I looked through my journey, I realized it was the one constant thing that helped me to continue on, that helped me to continue to think about a thing, okay? So identifying my superpower. One day, in the beginning of my journey, y'all know it's been 16 years now, I had the thought that my mind was my own. Simple, right? I had the thought that my mind was my own, that my thoughts were my own. And no one could hear what I was thinking. No one could physically go into my mind and control my mind by putting their hands on it if I never allowed them to. If I was aware of what other people were bringing into my space, then I could then protect my mind, myself. I could protect my thoughts. And so my superpower began when I started thinking that I have thoughts of my own. I have a philosophy of my own. I have a thought process that is uniquely JoJo's and nobody else's. I thought no one can see what's in between here. I'm the only one that can observe it. Remember yesterday we talked about being to observe things, and you, in order to know where you're going, you got to sit back and observe them. Great morning, Miss Cree. So when I realized that my thoughts were my own and no one could touch them, I was like, oh, okay. So you mean to tell me I can think a thought and nobody can see it? Okay. You mean I can think different things about myself and no one's going to tell me that it's wrong? No. You mean I can develop my own philosophy and my own thought process here while I'm sitting there watching TV, or while I'm hanging out with friends, or while I'm just sitting on the porch watching the cars go by? I have my own thought process. And then, y'all, let me change glasses. And then it hit me that, wow. And then here's the thing, when you start thinking about what your superpower is, because you have one, when you start to think about it. And I realized that, they were my thoughts and nobody could see them. And more importantly, I was not going to allow anyone to take them away, because they were new to me. You know how you get a new present and you don't want to share it with anybody and you just want to play with it? Remember the movie My Precious? And it's yours and it's new. My thoughts were new and they were mine, and nobody could see them. And I didn't have to share them with anyone if I didn't want to. And I began to realize that was my superpower. That I had my own thoughts. I had my own mindset. I had my own philosophy. Good morning, Tiffany. I could do things inside of here that I could protect, and nobody, absolutely nobody could touch. But I had to realize that was my superpower. And everyone, whether you think you have a superpower or not, I'm giving you one today. That's your superpower. Your superpower today is that your thoughts are yours. No one can observe them other than you. Now, let me help you, because your superpower is so strong. Your thoughts are your own, right? This is how powerful they are. The thoughts that you have, you allow them to manifest in your daily action. Example 1. I think I want to have macaroni today. You go cook it. I think I'm going to go run into Marshall's and find me a red blouse. You go do it. I think I'm going to start looking for a new job. I think I'm going to start a business. I am going to do, and the thought that only you could observe, you now have presented it inside of this physical world. You have superpowers. I think I'm going to have a baby, and you produce a human. Is that not insane? And you want to tell me you don't have any superpowers? And you can say, JoJo, that's insane. No, it's not. It's simple. Y'all, we make things so complicated when they're very simple. You have superpowers, girl, man, child. You have superpowers. And you put the restrictions on your superpower. No one else did. And so when I was sitting on my front porch last night and I was braiding my hair because it was raining, I went and sat on the front porch and braided my hair. And I was thinking about what I think about. And I was like, well, JoJo, how was your day today? Well, you thought about this and you did that. And you thought about that and you did that, JoJo. Wow, what you think about, you actually do. And is that not sort of a superpower? And then I took myself on a journey. I took myself on a journey 16 years ago. July 26, 2004 is when I realized that my thoughts were my own. That's when I realized that I can protect what is here. And then if I could just focus my superpower on something good just for a minute, there is no telling what I could change. And so I didn't know it was a superpower 16 years ago. I just figured it out yesterday and putting words to it. So come with me on this journey. And so what I found was that every time I had a thought, I have two options. I have the option to say, yeah, girl, that's a good thought and act on it. Or I have the option to say, oh, that's not so good, and I don't act on it. And you, my friend, have the same superpower every single day. Your mama has that superpower. Your daddy, your cousin, everybody has the superpower. And they are taking it for granted because they assume that their thoughts are not real and that their thoughts are not powerful and that their thoughts cannot change the world. Your superpower are your thoughts. Think about it. You decided when you woke up this morning what you were going to wear. You had that conversation here before it ever left here. And you made it so here. I think I want a pound cake. And you got one. Your thoughts are powerful. And you don't, just for the day, can we use your superpowers for something amazing? Can we think a different thought just for a minute? You know, I love Bionic Woman and Superwoman. You know, Bionic Woman, she turned around and said, I don't know why I remember that noise. I just knew I was Bionic Woman and Superwoman. You could not tell me when I jumped off my front porch that I was not going to fly. I had no concept of what I could not do because my mind had no restriction on what I could and could not do. And it is when people start introducing restrictions to us that we assume our superpower is no longer good enough. Look at your children. They are living witness. Look at your niece, your nephews. They're living witness that superpowers are real. They're living witness that their thoughts can manifest instantaneously. I want this and I want it right now. And you eventually give in and give it to them. They want to play and they do it. They assume they can fly and they jump off with no second doubt or no second thought of what they can and cannot do. So today you have a superpower. I want you to acknowledge it, that your thoughts have made your reality. Just this morning, you thought, I want a cup of coffee. And it happened. It was a thought that you put into action that you made happen here. Don't tell me you don't have a superpower. Let me read this from this book that helped me this morning. We must come to know and trust an empowering belief that we can achieve our dreams, and we need to be liberated from the toxic beliefs about ourselves and our potential. We must learn to believe from a place of unfettered freedom and strength. Y'all, 16 years ago, when I had just left my abuser, living in the shelter, and I finally got my own place, and I was having those nightmares because when the lights would come by and they would hit the walls, it looked like a scary monster, or I assumed somebody was trying to break into the house, and I didn't sleep for the first 2 years because I had to check all the windows and doors constantly. Like I'd sit down and I check the windows and I check the doors, and I sit down and I go back and I look at the kids and I check the windows and the doors, and I sit down and I look out the back window, and I had to walk around the house and I had to check the car. And it was on that journey 16 years ago that I realized the only thing that I may possibly have control of, JoJo, is this. And in here is where my freedom is going to live. And here is where I began to understand the limitlessness of who I could be. It was in here that no one could come in and change what I was saying. It was in here that it was my safe space to just for a minute think, JoJo, you can go back to school, girl. You can get your master's degree. Oh, I can? Yeah, girl. You can go back to school and get a PhD. Are you sure? Girl, yes. JoJo, you can get another job. Oh, you can have a better house. Oh, you can do this. And it was here that I realized was my safe space. And I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that you are the gatekeeper to you. And I realized that I was the doorkeeper and the gatekeeper to me. I was the one. I was the usher. If I'm a church, if this is my temple, if I'm the small business of me, I have the first and final say of who gets to experience JoJo, who gets to come into my worship, who gets to do business with me. I am that gatekeeper. And if I do not understand the value of my thoughts and what they can bring and give, then my door is going to be wide open to swing for back, and people are free to come in and take a look. Oh, I don't see nothing in sale on here. Oh, she got a clearance rack. You see what I'm saying? And people take advantage of that. But when you realize that you are the doorkeeper to yourself, to this more importantly, then you become more mindful of what you put here. When I got that idea, and I didn't realize it was a superpower until yesterday, and I started looking back over the last 16 years, and I realized it was always my thought process. It was always me having freedom in my thought for me to do something different. I'm not saying I wasn't scared. I'm not saying I wasn't overwhelmed to think a different thought. I'm not saying that to change did not equal challenge. I'm saying that in me realizing that that was my superpower, I realized some important things. I was worth it. No one else was going to value it as much as I did. And it wasn't as important to anybody other than me. And so if it all came back to me, then I had to be the guiding force for me, right? My thoughts are my own, and this is my free space. This is where I can think and dream uninterrupted, and no one can see it. And here, you don't have to be ashamed of your dream, of where you want to go, who you want to love, what you want to do. There is no shame there, because it is your superpower. It is your own. You have it. Girl, man, come on. Let's work that thing. You're using your superpower to convince yourself that you're going to be broke your whole life. You are using your superpower to convince yourself that you have to live like your mama say. You have used your superpower to convince yourself you got to live in this neighborhood all the time because that's where mama and them live, dad and them, and you're trying to keep up the tradition, but it's not serving you. You have used your superpower to convince yourself you can't believe and you can't have any other denomination of religion, or you can't think a different religion because this is what has been set before you. You are using your superpower right now. It's activated. Ta-da! There it is. And every day you are using it to impose your limitations. I'm not saying I didn't, because in the beginning, heck yeah, I used it. And then sometimes there's days now when my superpower, I allow it to hinder me or I stop it. And I'm quick now to check myself, and I be like, oh, but wait a minute. Why are you thinking that negative thought? Like where does that go in the grand scheme of things? Like, can I put this in a category to where it's going to make sense to where I'm going to go? And if I cannot, I can't keep it. So when you're thinking, hey, I want to move and I want to do this, and you start to give those excuses that you have to validate with yourself, okay? If it doesn't fit in any of these categories, yes, you can. Why not? But did you try though? Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's scary, but did you try though? Is it fitting in any category that is serving you? Or is it fitting in a category that keeps you where you are right now? And if it is keeping you where you are, do you need to continue to have that thought? Because you seem to have that down pat. So can we introduce a new thought in there? Can we think something different? Which goes amazing with the quote today. Begin doing what you want to do now. We're not living in eternity. That ain't fixing to happen. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. Good morning, Alicia. And that's by Sir Francis Bacon. Isn't that amazing? That you have your life in your hand and it is a star and it is melting all at the same time. It is bright and it is shining and it is before you and it is melting at the same time. Your thoughts are your superpower. I need you to, it's already activated, boo. I just need you to turn it in another direction. Just for the day. I don't want you, and sometimes we get overwhelmed in thinking that it has to be magnificent and glitter and everything instantaneously, when it just has to be day one. Oh, for you to look in a different direction, for you to realize that your thoughts are your own. Your thoughts are your superpower. And the minute you realize that the freedom that you have here in between your two ears is not going to ooze out of your ear if you challenge what you see right now, you're not going to die. If you decide I don't like this anymore, I want to try something different, guess what won't happen? You're not going to pass out and die. You may experience a difficulty in change because your body is used to a routine and a set way of doing things. But sister, my brother, once your mind realizes that it is free and you have opened up so that it can grow. Remember we talked about planting ourselves, and that when you transferring a plant to a bigger pot or into the ground, you got to loosen the roots so it knows that it's free to grow. That's what you're doing. You are loosening your roots to know that you are free to grow. You are free to expand. You are free to bloom. Honey, you are qualified to be exceptional. You are. You are absolutely qualified to be exceptional. And it begins here. And most times we hold grudges and we judge people and we assume it is others that is holding us back from our greatness. I would be great had my mama not done this to me. I would be amazing had my daddy not left. I would have been great had that man not beat me. I can use all of that as an excuse. But at the end of the day, I have control over what's here. And that is self-imposed. Now, my abuser may have introduced some thoughts in there, but at some point, I had to realize my superpower was to push them thoughts out. That was my superpower, to clean up on the inside what I no longer liked. And that's when you got to, like we talked about yesterday, observe things. You got to take a minute and observe them. First step to live past crazy, number one, is to be quiet. And you cannot observe if you're steady talking. You cannot comprehend if you're always looking about trying to fix the next thing. But sit down on the front porch. Join me this evening. Because last night I sat on the front porch and braided my hair and had a cup of water. And sometimes that's all that's needed. You're sitting down after a long day and you are reassessing your thoughts. Be quiet so that you can hear what you're trying to say to yourself. The mind, the body knows what it needs to survive. It's just keeping the mind quiet long enough to hear it. And in all your movement of the day, are you listening to you? Because the inside of you is screaming out, I promise. When you wake up with the hurt neck, the sore throat, the stomach, your body is speaking and saying, excuse me, hey JoJo, we have problems on the inside, and because we cannot express them on the outside, we're now going to eat them up on the inside. And you have got to look at the thoughts that you're thinking and throw them out. I got you. If you're good in country, you remember you used to sit on the front porch and shell them purple peas? And your big daddy, well, it's my big daddy, my Uncle Chess, or my Aunt D, or my mama, or my Aunt Sue. When you flick them out, oh, you don't just flick it out, girl. If you don't take the time to look to see if all the peas are good, then what you're going to have is that big old 10-gallon bucket, and you're going to have to go through that again and then pick them out. Why don't you just do it as you're going? Pay attention to your thoughts as you're going and pick out what doesn't serve you. That ain't a good pea. You can't cook that. It's going to be, As my big daddy say, why you want to cook them rocks, girl? Why you want to cook them rocks, gal? Pick them rocks out. They don't serve you. So that's what you do at the end of the day. Or if you get good enough, you catch your thoughts in the middle of you having them. And you say, wait a minute, that don't serve. That ain't a good thought. Let me throw that away. Let me insert a new one. That is your superpower today. On this lovely day, put your cape on. Put the S on your chest. And realize the superpower is your thought. Reassess the thoughts that you're having right now. JoJo crazy. You can put a check by that. Absolutely. That is correct. Can you achieve your dreams? Absolutely. That is correct. Can you live outside of where you currently are? Absolutely. Check it off. Can you do something? Can you find a new job? Hell yeah. Can you start that business? Abso-freaking-lutely. Check that off. Can we agree on those some things? Your brain is not going to ooze out your ears. No one's going to die because you are deciding to manifest something different. And prayer is simply that. When you think a thought, you pray, Jesus, and then you set out to do the work, right? Because the answer, your abundance, and your blessing is in the instructions. You can't hear the instructions because you're busy talking. If you be quiet, you can reassess your thoughts. You can look at the freedom that you have in your mind to think anything that you want. Anything is possible. Where's my quote, y'all? Here it is. I've learned never to close my mind to an idea simply because it's miraculous. And here you are using your superpower to close off your mind to any idea because it's miraculous, because you thought it, because your mama told you you weren't going to be nothing. Your daddy confirmed it. Your best friend did too. The man you're dating said it too. How he treats you said it too. But boo, you still, here's the thing. People, when I realized that my abuser had put words into me that I did not like, but I owned them as my own. But when I woke up one morning and it was just a simple thought, I don't like thinking this no more. That's all it takes. And then the next day you'll wake up and you'll say, I like not thinking that yesterday. Let me not think about that again. Let me think something different. And when you realize that your superpower just needed you to acknowledge it, when you realize that you were using your superpower to confirm things that other people were saying, sometimes you're using your superpower to confirm what other people are saying. JoJo, you're fat. Yeah, yes, I am. You ain't never gonna be nothing. You're correct. I ain't never gonna be nothing. Ain't nobody gonna love you. You right. Ain't nobody gonna love me. I'm using my superpower to confirm what they told me that I accepted. Now here, my sister and my brothers, where you have the opportunity to realize your superpower and take it back. This is where you become the bionic woman, and this is where you grab your lasso. This is where you put on your high boots, okay? And you strap on that belt and you sling your hair and you go on about your business. That's it. That's when you take back your superpower and realize the freedom of your mind is your own. And the second I realized I don't like to think that about myself. That doesn't make me feel good. And I introduced a new thought. Even if you don't know what that new thought is yet, I'll give you that. You can think, I don't like that, and stop that thought until you can find one that you want to put in there. So on this wonderful day, it's going to be an amazing day. I want you to realize that you have a superpower. And you can identify your superpower however you want. For me, today, the one I'm sharing with you is that you have the freedom of your thoughts. And your mind is your own. Your thoughts are your own. Your dreams are your own. No one can take it, and no one gave it to you. They were yours. They were given to you when you came to this earth. It was a dream and a thought written, and it said, this belongs to JoJo Waddell. And it came with me. I am the one who has dominion over that. Now, if I allow somebody to come in and take over that, that is of my own doing and not of someone else's. And I've got to reassess my thoughts at that point because I'm the doorkeeper of me. And if I don't like people walking in and out looking for a clearance or looking for stuff on sale, I need to shut the doors and have a grand reopening. Ta-da, here's the new and improved, and we don't do sales. We're not negotiating our contracts down. We're keeping our value at 100%. We're asking for all things up here. We're not moving down here at all. I have reassessed my thoughts, right? And I understood that my assets and my values, honey, we got commas and periods in there. And I can't deal with your sense. So until you realize, boo, that this is your superpower, that your thoughts are your own. Yeah, mama gave you some. Your mama gave you the foundation. Y'all, she absolutely did. And we humbly respect everything our mother has ever done for us. Our fathers, everybody in our community. I acknowledge them and I love them for what the structure that they helped build. But this is my house. I've got to furnish it with my thoughts and my superpower. That is it. Your thoughts are your own. You woke up and you thought this morning, let me check Facebook before I go to work. And you did that. You thought, let me put my hair up. And you did that. You use your superpower every day. You just got to be mindful of it. We must come to know and trust and empowering belief that we can achieve our dreams. You can. And to do this, you need to be liberated from toxic beliefs about yourselves and your potential. When you realize that your superpower is your thoughts and everything that you think is now becoming a reality, period. Right, Sandra? Me too. I go harder. And everything that I thought became my reality, I then became very careful of the books I read. Y'all, I became extremely careful of what I was listening to and singing on the radio. I became so mindful of because some things that you put in, that you read and that you sing subconsciously are in the back of your mind, reminding you of what you are not. So that when you try to say that I am, that song or that book or that person will pop up and say, oh, but no, you're not. So I became so intentional about what I was listening to, what I was reading, and the things that I was doing, that it strengthened my superpower. And you're strengthening yours too. You're strengthening it every day by your habits, by your actions, by your thought process. Every day. So you have one. We must learn to believe from a place of unfettered freedom and strength. We must reclaim and proclaim our faith in ourselves, period. So on this wonderful day, it's going to be an amazing day. I want you to take time to acknowledge your superpower. And girl, be proud of it. Be proud of your superpower. Be like, man. Now listen, you can be proud and be like, yeah, JoJo, I got a superpower and I created all this mess. It's okay. Guess what? You get to create again. That's the fun part. That, my friend, is where the fun begins. You get to acknowledge your superpower and you can look at what you had the power to create around you right now. Right now, you created all of this. By you getting up and being intentional about what you were thinking and wanting to do every day. You created that. All of this you created by being intentional every day. Ta-da! Welcome to your first day of an amazing life to create something new. Put on your cape, strap that S on your chest, honey. Stand flat-footed, chest out, chin up. And let's proclaim that superpower. Oh, so if I thought this and it gave me that. Because if you think all men are bad, you're going to get an all men are bad. If you think all women are, then that's what you're going to get. If you think you always broke, then that's what you get. The minute you decide that your thoughts are your own and you can think a new thought, and it only takes just a half a second, and you'll realize that those new thoughts will start to multiply. Then you'll start creating something new. Then you'll be like, oh yeah, let me think this thought. Oh, I can start this business? Girl, let me go ahead and think this thought. Let me go ahead and do this. You got to start somewhere. And we're celebrating day ones, not 1 days. Day one. Begin doing what you want to do now. We're not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. I love the contrast of the two. I'm a star and it's melting like a snowflake. Take advantage of what is in your hand. Take advantage of what is here. This is your free space. No one can see it. No one can control it. You control what comes in and comes out. Your thoughts are your own. So please identify. I gave you a superpower today. Add to your list, boo. Add to your list of superpowers, because you have them all day, every day. Everything that you do is a superpower because it makes things so in the world. You get up and you work a job. That is a superpower that makes this world work. You get up every day and your aunt or uncle or a cousin and you make that child's life work. If you're a parent, your superpower is that you're a parent and you're guiding another person who has a superpower and you're giving them free space to think and grow. So on this wonderful, absolutely wonderful day. Amen, Sandra. Yes, ma'am, Miss Craig. Here it is. It's a star and it's melting. Take advantage of it. Reassess your thoughts. Look at what's in your hand. In your hand is your environment right now. Look at it. You don't like it, change it. Here. You change it here and it will change here. I promise. That's where everything starts. That's where all changes start. We didn't get to fly in a plane because somebody was scared and never thought a thought. They had to think the thought first, boo. And then they had to take action. They had to look at what was in their hand and make it so. Everything in this world came from a thought that became manifested. Everything in this world was a prayer or a thought that was worked on. Here it is. You got to take advantage of what's in your hand. So on this lovely day, I want you to have an amazing day. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows. We have a podcast. They can binge listen to those. If you missed the show yesterday, y'all can go watch me do an ugly cry. Yesterday's show was good. I cried a little bit. I got ugly cry because I was feeling that thing yesterday. But I want you to take advantage of what's in your hand. Okay? It is a star and it is melting. What do you want to do with it? This day. And you ain't even got to look at the whole day. Just for this second, just for this minute. What are you going to do with it? It's yours. Mama bought you here. Okay? Daddy, they helped form you into this life and they gave you that foundation. But your thoughts are your own. Create what you want. Create it. Now, if you're having a difficult time creating that, that's okay. I got a list of books that I'm going to post today. If you're just new on this journey, you can read these books and they can help you out, okay? They can help a sister or a brother out. And I promise it's going to help you with your mindset. But first, you got to be willing to do the thing. If you want to know more about me, those are my two books, Fearless Woman, Born to Give Thanks, and Transition of Freedom, that will tell you and explain why I am the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? I learned how to live past crazy. I learned that my thoughts were my own. I learned that it was my superpower. Yes, ma'am. Come on, Kiba. And you better recognize it. Shell them peas. Remember the shelling the peas? Pick them peas. Pick out them bad thoughts as soon as they pop up. And don't put them in your bucket. Don't put them in your... Y'all know we talk about the energy bucket every day. Take that out of your energy bucket. You ain't got time to be spending your energy on that negative thought. And up until this point, that's what you've been doing. You put all the peas in there. So what Big Daddy used to say, one bad apple, what? So you may have had some good thoughts, but that one negative that said you couldn't spoiled everything. You want a good pot of peas with some cornbread. Pick out the ones that don't serve you, boo. Pick out your thoughts that don't serve you. And the amazing thing will happen is that you'll realize that the answer has always been before you. You'll realize that you have the power to do whatever it is that you need to do. You'll realize that you're strong enough to do what it said, what you thought. You're strong enough to do that because you never would have had the thought if you weren't strong enough to do it. It never would have came if it was never for you to do. And that's how I have to look at it. Why do I have that thought? Because it was given to me, because that's what I can do. Someone else has a different thought, and it was given to them for them to do. So it is coming to you on purpose, my friend. Stand on it. You have the power to make it happen. I'm not saying that you won't be afraid. I'm not saying that your first step won't be a little wobbly. All I'm saying is, sister, that the more you allow that thought to be free, the more you recognize your superpower, the stronger you become. And you get that way by your thoughts every single minute, every day, by you being mindful of what you're thinking and what you're producing every day. And now here you are, guiding yourself to where you're supposed to be, using your superpower. Don't allow them negative thoughts to overtake you. And hey, I'll be the first to tell you, I can have a bad day. Yep. I will. But at the end of the day, I can reassess my thoughts and say, JoJo, you know what? You had a bad day today. Look at what didn't serve you. Oh, that didn't serve me. Forgive myself and be like, girl, that's okay. You had a bad day. I will go to sleep, wake up, and put that S right back on my chest and command my mind. Even in the Bible, it says command your morning. What do you think that is? Your mind is powerful. I could talk about that all day, so I'm not going to. I'm leave y'all with the fearless thought quote of the day. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. Be mindful of what is in your hand. Reassess your thoughts and set out to be intentional with your thoughts today, okay? Be intentional. That is your superpower. If you thought you did not have one, ta-da, there you go. Your thoughts are your own. Your mind is your own. And this is your safe space. Let your dreams run free, boo. Sit back I tell you what, this is what I do every morning. After I finish the morning show, after I talk to mom and them, I go sit on my front porch. It doesn't matter if the sun is shining or not. I sit out there and I take 5 or 6 deep breaths. And I've already asked myself, JoJo, what kind of day you want to have? I say that as soon as my eyes open. But I sit outside and I just am thankful and grateful for what I can see and what is before me right now. And I allow my thoughts to run free. What if, JoJo, you are your sister's keeper? What does that look like? What if, JoJo, you do open that bookstore? What does that look like? And there's nobody out there but me, myself, and I. And my thoughts are free to run to and fro. My dreams can leap, cut cartwheels. They can do whatever they want. And I allow them to come and I look at them and we laugh and we talk. Yeah, girl, what's the name of your bookstore going to be? I don't know. Let me think about it. You got to spend time with your superpower. You got to spend time with your thoughts. You got to be mindful of the thoughts that you're having. Give them a free space to be. So this morning, go sit outside. If it's raining, you can still open up the door. Even if it's cold, I got to have some fresh air. I will still stand outside, take a deep breath, and allow my thoughts just for a few minutes to be free as they want before I put restrictions on them. So on this wonderful day, I want you to have an amazing day. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. Go stand outside. Go stand in the sun. Put your face to it and smile and allow your dreams to be free. Don't put any restrictions on them. That's why it says to be like a little kid. It all comes back because what it's going to take is you not having any limitations on your thoughts. So to go stand in the sun today, if it's cloudy, go breathe the fresh air of the coming rain that is watering the flower that you just planted with your intention of your thoughts and your mind that you're getting ready to see manifested here. Go enjoy that thought today. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all of them. We have the podcast. And I do have a few things coming up. My first international speaking, which I should have been in Curacao. I should be leaving for Curacao on Thursday, but I'm not. But that's okay. So that is actually this Saturday. So I'll post a link for that so that you can join me. And I have a few other things coming up that I will share with you guys. So if you want to join me on this journey, you can. I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. Have an amazing day. And I'll see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Thank you again for listening to the Live Past Crazy Show with Yonmitra Jojo. She is the only Live Past Crazy specialist, and she is glad you spent your time with her. If you would like to know more about why she knows crazy and about her journey, she invites you to check out her website, www.livepastcrazy.com, as well as follow her on social media. Yonmitra is her tag for IG, Twitter, and Facebook, JANMETRA. She also invites you to join her on the Fearless Morning Show, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. on Facebook Live. Again, you can find us on Facebook with the Fearless Morning Show page or by name. Remember, as a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialists, individuals are able to identify the crazy in their lives and develop a specific blueprint to begin to live past crazy. Do you know anybody who needs to live past crazy? Then send them over her way, because there is life after crazy. Be peaceful, period. And Yonmitra will see you guys on the next show.